Well, welcome to another edition of Crop Life Retail Week. I'm Eric Sfiligoj, editor of Crop Life and Crop Life Iron magazines. Here today, again, as has been the case for quite a while now, with Miss Lara Sowinski. Lara, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you. How you doing today, Eric?
I'm doing good. As we're recording this, it's a nice, cool but sunny day here in Ohio, and I'm
It's
sure based on what it looks like outside, it's not quite as windy as it was the last time we talked, but it looks like Texas still is sunny. So
indeed. It's a fine spring day here in West Texas.
West Texas. Okay.
Yep.
Very good. Well, I know before we came on air, you and I were talking. You said you had some important information to share with our viewers regarding digital, I believe you said, and ag technology. So I will yield the floor to you and let you take it away.
Why, thank you, Mr. President. We have a couple items in the news that caught my attention today, in particular because they talk about the digital journey, not only as we talk about it in the ag space, but more broadly in the sectors that surround the ag space. Trucking is a good example. The Western Growers Specialty Crop Automation Report, second year for that report out of the Western Growers Association. Admittedly, sure, it's with regards to specialty crop, but the report found this year, and I thought this was very interesting, around 70% of participating growers indicated they had invested in automation in 2022 with an average annual spend of $450,000 to $500,000 per grower. Considerable increase over the prior year, 21's investments, which were in the neighborhood of $350,000 to $400,000. So, Western Growers Association reporting a lot more spending in automation. Likewise, that corresponds with what we are seeing here at Crop Life and automation, robotics, autonomy being a sizable theme throughout our Tech Hub Live event, which is coming up at the end of July. Wall Street Journal, couple items that stood out for me today in this same vein. A lot of talk about, we're following, of course, in recent years, the trucking sector, the mandate for electronic logging devices to accurately capture information mandated by the hours of service rules. So the journal's reporting that that digital journey, if you will, is even more pronounced in the last few years. E-commerce, supply chain optimization, and the customer, be they business customers or the retail consumer, demanding real-time visibility for their shipment. So trucking firms, by and large, are really investing even more heavily in cameras, sensors, software, anything to free up the driver from having to write manually and or tap in info. So a lot of movement in that space, investment likewise. Another item to today's journal about while we're seeing supply chain snags ease at the ports, if you will, volume coming down and so forth. A lot of big food brands, they and in the ag space, they mentioned ConAgra now are looking at other areas of their supply chain that are still, these last few years kind of exposed areas that were not quite working as well. So they called out inventory, sourcing, and procurement as other areas of the supply chain now that food companies and ag companies are looking at to further optimize that supply chain. So, again, I really, with Tech Hub Live, and we're still, putting together some speakers and putting the program together, this digital push. We're talking about digital ag and ag 4.0, We're really seeing, the other areas that, there's not one industry that I can think of that is not really, really, really pushing and investing for ways to not only offset labor shortages, but to free up time, make things more accurate, compliant. So anyway, wanted to call that out. I know you've got some news as well, so I'll toss it back to you, sir.
Well, and thank you. But before we move on to the next bit, just on ag technology, I mean, it seems like things are changing very, very rapidly. I mean, yeah, I suppose that, in truth, these segments that we do, we could devote half of each of our videos over the last 6 weeks or so, 7 weeks, and we could report on this movement towards technology and in agriculture, and we would have plenty of information to talk about. But of course, like you said, if anyone is really, really interested, I'm sure there'll be a sea change between now and the end of July when we hold Tech Hub Live. But, if you can attend the event, because chances are, we'll be talking about all the major developments and trends that we're seeing in the marketplace. And I'm sure it's going to be a great venue. Again, Des Moines, nice city and a great place to hold a meeting. So
For sure.
check it out, and go to our website. We'll have the link up here, and you can join us. It would be lovely to have.
Yeah, and we may even do a retail week recording on site. So
If we
not
do,
enough reason to show up.
I am looking forward to that if we do. I know we kind of did that last year as we talked, and I know with a couple of people on the floor, but yeah, to actually do a broadcast from the event, I'm for it. So let's try to make that happen.
You're on.
All right. Well, hey, besides ag technology, or something else we've talked about on a lot of videos over the last year or so, is the all the activity we're seeing in the space regarding biologicals.
Wow.
And we did find out this week that we've had a little bit more of a development on that front. Our friends at Syngenta Crop Protection have entered into a partnership with a company called Biotalis, I think is pronounced, a Belgian company. And they have announced that they've formed a collaboration, and they're going to do research, development, and commercialization of new biocontrol solutions to help manage key pests in a broad variety of crops.
Wow.
And this new solution that they're working on is going to be based on Biotalis's agrobody technology and offer up some new modes of action. So, again, we have seen many traditional crop protection companies jumping into the biological space, either through, acquisitions or partnerships. So here's another one, Syngenta, another big name in the marketplace, getting involved in this space. So I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more developments and products coming out of this partnership between now and the end of the year.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's a big announcement. Indeed.
Yep. So then, hey, looking forward a little bit, just one thing, just to let our viewers know that next week I'm going to be attending the Council of Producers and Distributors of Agrotechnology Conference in Louisville, Kentucky. And the theme there is going to be adjuvants, inerts, and crop protection. So that meeting takes place May 1st through 3rd. I will be on site with a couple of other folks, so I'll be taking some videos. So in our video next week, probably have a couple of clips from what was said at that meeting. But again, if you get the chance, if you happen to be in Louisville and you want to take in an information on adjuvants and inerts, and maybe there for the Derby a little early, stop in at the downtown Marriott in Louisville, and we'll let you see what you can see with air. So it'll be a good event.
Great. Do you have the proper hat to wear to this event, or?
And I will probably wear the Crop Life hat. Those are the safest. When I'm on an event, I'm not going to be having the wrong logo as I'm talking to a person that may compete with that company. So I will probably wear a Crop Life hat and be happy. So.
All righty. Just
All
checking.
Right. Yes. And also looking forward, again, of course, Crop Life Iron, which I mentioned at the top of the show, is one of our magazines, and that's the official publication of the Midwest Ag Industries Exposition, also known as the MAGIE show. which is held every year in August in Bloomington, Illinois. And the 2023 version of MAGIE is coming up. And the folks that put that on, the Illinois Fertilizer and Chemical Association, now has a call for the Illinois Custom Applicator of the Year Award. They handed out for the first time at the 2022 event. They need to do it again here in 2023. Last year, the applicator that they handed it to was John Elner from Elner Brothers in Royal, Illinois. But this event, this award can go to any worthy custom applicator for an ag retailer based in the state of Illinois. So if you have somebody you think would be a good nominee for that award program, we're going to put up the link on the screen here so you can go to that and fill out a nomination form. But IFCA will be collecting those forms between now and May 23rd. So go ahead, enter early, enter often, whoever you think might be deserving of such an honor. And then that award will be handed out on August 23rd, which is the Wednesday, the first day of the MAGIE show this year in Bloomington.
Excellent. Hopefully I'll be there in person.
Yeah, I know you were asking me the other day about attending events, and I'm like, if you really want to see the equipment, drive around in it, MAGIE's probably what you want to check out. So,
alrighty, sounds good.
All right. Well, Miss Laura, then we will end this program on the note that we always do. It is time for Fun with Numbers.
So if I keep on getting it wrong, is it still fun with numbers, or is it struggling with numbers? Should we?
Suffering with numbers for you, my dear, lately. Pain and suffering. I still find it fun to try to frustrate you. Well, what the heck? I guess I am being that way.
I always show up for option D, which could be anything.
Yeah, well, okay. All right. Well, very good. So hopefully, my fingers are crossed for you this week. And I will explain that as we get through this. But so this week, your number is 30%.
Okay.
And probably catch on that where we're headed with this, given the time of year we're in. So is 30%, is that the percentage of soybeans that have been planted in Louisiana so far this year?
Okay.
Is it B, the percentage of corn planted in Missouri so far this year? Is it C, the percentage of soybean planted in Minnesota so far this year? Or is it D, the percentage of presents that were closed my son received on his birthday this last Sunday?
Oh my gosh. I still find these difficult. I heard the time of year thing. So oh gosh. Let's go with A.
Hey, you are correct, ma'am. Although I will admit to a little bit, I guess I've been feeling sorry for you, so I threw you a bone. Okay. This week, there was only one incorrect answer. That was C. I was hoping you would catch on that Minnesota's a little too far north to have 30% of their soybean in the ground. But the correct answer would have been A, B, and actually D, because mother was the only one at his birthday party who got him clothes, but that was 3 of his 10 presents, so there's your 30%. So. But no, according to USDA, planting is underway for corn and soybean, of course, as it always is this time of year. And nationwide, we're looking at about 8% of the corn in the ground already, about 4% of the soybean. But the states of Louisiana leads the nation, 30%. Soybean is in the ground already, which is ahead of pace, about 4%. And in Missouri, corn is ahead about 20% this year, and then they're at 30% in the ground already with their corn. Any guess what state might be leading so far in terms of percentage of corn in the ground? And it should be pretty obvious because you happen to reside
in Texas.
Yep, 65%. of
Oh,
the corn that is planted in Texas
oh,
is, as of April 16th of this year, is in the ground, and that puts them ahead of their national average by about 4 or 5%.
so what's the reason behind the increase in corn and soybeans being planted, like the early start, if you will? What's behind that?
I guess in those particular states, the weather has cooperated. It's been warm enough. And of course, soil temperature is a big part of these seeds going into the ground. And, the further south here, obviously, the easier it is to warm the soils up and keep them warm. Because I know the one thing the report did mention is my state, my home state of Ohio, is at 0% soybean, 0% corn in the ground as of April 16th. And that puts us behind about 1 or 2% versus where we normally are this time of year. So, and I know it has been cold and rainy for most of the time here and has not stayed very warm. So I guess the soil temperatures aren't quite warm enough yet to manage the seed here in Ohio, but in Missouri, Louisiana, and in Texas, where you happen to be, the soils must be warm enough for the seed to be okay.
Great. Well, that was a good one. I feel better because
Like I said, I made it so there was only one wrong answer. And I'm like, okay, you guys only have 1 in 4 chance of getting the incorrect answer. All the others will be appropriate.
well, last week we talked about if this streak continues, we're going to have to use a dunk tank to
Hey, I think we're on to
that
something.
buzzer with
Back up live when we do this fun with numbers. Put you in a bathing suit, put you in the dunk tank, and if you get it wrong, you're calling in the drink, my dear.
as long as I have that crop life hat on.
It sounds like a great idea. All right. Well, hey, that's all we've got this week, but thanks for joining us. We've enjoyed your company. Hope you enjoyed ours. We'll see you again real soon. If you have questions or comments about today's episode of Retail Week, contact us by email or Twitter, or type your message in the comment section below. Your feedback is important to us. We will try our best to address your thoughts in next week's episode, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.